everybody. Welcome back to the Bridge Towards Wealth. I'm Christopher Klepp, Wealth Manager at Strategic Financial Group, where we help business owners in and outside of their business expand to their vision. As noted in the last guest episode, we're continuing to bring on guests who have a unique point of view on different topics that business owners face day in and day out. Today, we're welcoming Caleb Lendy, a partner at Bronswick Benjamin, and we're going to discuss why and how a CPA firm, beyond the required tax filings and financial statement work, can help young business owners better understand and manage profitability, operations, and risk reduction. Welcome, Caleb. Excited to have you.
Chris, thanks for having me. It's my honor and pleasure to be on.
Before we get going here, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how it is that you ended up at Bronswick Benjamin?
Yeah, Chris, it's really an interesting story. So I'm a Chicagoan through and through. Went to Walter Payton High School in the city, and when I was done there, went to Loyola and then DePaul for my master's. And after I graduated high school, I ended up coaching at Payton for about 8 years while I was, working and going to college. And one of the other coaches on the staff, Al Rogaway, he was a client of Benjamin and Berkenstein at the time. So he told me when we were coaching that a CPA was looking for some help for the upcoming busy season. So I did an internship for him my junior year of college, and he told me that when I graduated, he was going to hire me. So that's how I got connected with Joe. And Joe ended up merging with Bronswick Rice and Pollock, a CPA firm in the Northwest Burbs, actually about 10 years ago now. And I really got a great experience because Joe was nearing retirement age, and Jeff Bronswick still has a long road ahead of him. So I kind of got the best of both worlds and got to see just really some great examples of how CPAs are and how they can help their clients more so than just from a transactional base, but really become trusted advisors for their clients.
Well, that's true Chicago all the way through, from Chicago public schools to local colleges to I know a guy is how you end up at your current firm.
Exactly.
So obviously, over the past couple of years, in particular, many young business owners have sprung up. What's been your experience with working with early stage businesses?
Yeah, so we've really, our business is to help businesses and their owners succeed. So we work from, startups all the way through $100 million companies and everything in between. But like you mentioned, over the last couple of years, especially with COVID and even a little bit before and after, there's been a lot of new businesses starting. And for young business owners or early stage entrepreneurs, really making sure they have a good foundation, good books and records, and what is their business actually doing. Having that information helpful and handy helps them make good business decisions moving forward. Many years ago, we had some clients say, "Hey, I'm kind of flying blind here. How am I doing on my business? I see what my bank account says, but that's really all I'm tracking." So we try to provide obviously good, timely, accurate financial information to the clients, and then also KPIs, key performance indicators, charts, graphs, and just helpful information to the owners so they can see what they've done, but more importantly, where they're going.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think essential for new business owners to have that really great foundation. It's easier to start the right way and keep it going than have to rearrange everything several years down the road. So have you seen that, over the past couple of years, because the statistics tell us that new business ownership is going through the roof. Have you started offering different types of services to early stage businesses over the last few years? I mean, obviously there's been more of them. Has there been any sort of thread that you've seen that sort of come through many of these businesses that you're working with?
Yeah, so for a long time, we were doing mostly tax work and then assurance work with a little bit of accounting work. But over the past few years, we've really developed and honed in on our accounting services offering. We call it our client accounting services. And it can mean anything for different clients, right? So some clients, we come in and we do a full outsource of their books and records. We might be, paying bills and looking over receivables, helping with financial statements. Others, we come in on a monthly basis and review information that's been keyed in by someone else, making sure that the books are updated and closed properly and that they have good information. So I would say that really developing this service to those clients has been really key. Number one, it helps us stay in more constant communication with our clients. So we don't want to be that firm where, hey, here's all my books and records after year end, and you're just doing a tax return for me, because we can't add any value there. But having the monthly meetings and sessions to really go over the accounting information, and then really understanding what the individual and what the business's goals are, can help them make better decisions. So the client accounting service, customized accounting services, has been that service that's really been helping, I would say, especially our early on entrepreneurs.
Well, I mean, I think that that's really important, right? Because a lot of people have this view of their relationship with the CPA as I talk with them one time a year or twice a year, and that's what we're going to do. And I'm just sort of going to give them my information, and then they're just going to go ahead and file my taxes for me, when really it can be a much more meaningful relationship, particularly if you have that regular open conversation. And it sounds, I know with a lot of my clients that the CPA might be their most trusted relationship that they have, and there's almost an unlimited number of information sources business owners can turn to. So what do you think is key for founder or CEOs to watch for when building their advice team to help propel themselves and their company moving forward?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think it really comes down to first off, who do you get along with, and then who can you trust? Because in our thoughts, I tell the people here that work here too, life's too short to be dealing with people that you don't like to be around. So to me, that's number one. Are you a good person? Who are you working with there? But then two, CPAs that are proactive, pick up their phone when the client calls, gets back to them with timely information, and also ones that come with new ideas and keep you abreast of the new law changes. So one thing that we've been pretty cognizant of over the past year, actually a couple of years, is that when new legislation comes out, we really want to make sure that our clients understand it and that they're taking advantage of what's in the law for them. So one example is, when COVID hit, I'm a CPA with a master's in tax, and I didn't do a tax return for a couple of weeks during the pandemic there when PPP hit. We just kind of stopped, dropped, and rolled, learned everything that we could about the PPP, went through, contacted all of our clients that this applied to, and made sure that it got rolled out. And as new guidance and advice came out, we're sending out email updates, phone calls to our clients, making sure that they had the information that they needed to help them through the pandemic. So, as it's gone on and things have continued, we try to post at least once a week something out there, whether LinkedIn or through email, newsletter, to our clients to make sure they're up to date with the ever-changing tax laws and guidance, including what came out just within the last week or 10 days with the Inflation Act as well.
Well, let me ask you, I mean, do you see a difference in the success of the business owners that have a great team around them that are very collaborative? I mean, I know from my experience as a financial advisor, right, the mileage may vary on on the accountant when I'm trying to work with my clients' accountants, trying to help them do tax planning, right? Because I'm not the tax professional, I'm tax aware. You guys sit in that seat. I mean, do you see some different, where the mileage may vary on the quality of the business attorney or the financial advisor or the other, the benefits brokers, how they work together? You mentioned having people that you like to work with, but do you see a lot of difference in how collaborative some of these are, and the difference it can make for a company, whether or not they do better or not?
No, definitely. And I think some of it comes down to making sure that everybody's connected and on the same page, because we don't want the CPA, making decisions in a bubble, the financial advisors making decisions in a bubble, the same thing with the lawyers. So the more collaboration and opportunity to work together with other great professionals, it really helps the business owner as they're moving forward. And it takes a lot of stress off of them, because they're not playing middleman and trying to talk to each one and play a big game of telephone. So when everyone's able to connect together, it just makes things much more streamlined and smoother for the business owner, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you, in thinking about your company, in particular, right? So how and when should business owners, search for or interview or hire a firm like yours to help them with their tax work and their business and how to take it to that next level. When how does that go? What is there certain times in the business's life that you think are especially important for them to search out guidance from a company like Bronswick Benjamin?
Yeah, Chris, that's a great question and something that I've actually thought of a lot over the past several years. Where I think that we really add value is once, business. A lot of times when they start, whether they have the appropriate cash flow or accounting's not always necessarily the number one top of mind thing. It's about getting revenue, getting customers, expanding the business, and a lot of times the business owners trying to do everything themselves. And by doing the books or doing things that they're not necessarily best or accustomed to doing, they're taking their eye off of what they are really good at and what gives them their competitive advantage. So sometimes it is great to be able to just take things over from the beginning, but a lot of times it's maybe after a year or two where the business owner has been doing everything, doing their own QuickBooks, really just trying to move things forward, and then they realize, you know what, I could have a lot better lifestyle myself, and I could be a lot more effective in what I'm doing when I have a good CPA and accounting firm team. So I think a lot of times we do add value, maybe, after the person's gone through and, maybe 1 or 2 years, move forward with their business. And then they're saying, you know what, I want to expand. I really want to take this from my idea that I have right now, and I want to branch out and to do, even bigger and better things. So at that point, we can really come in and add a lot of value, making sure that they have this information. Like you said at the beginning, ideally, that's when you start the business. But a lot of times you're getting the business off the ground and you don't know if this can be something that's viable and actually going to work or not. So totally understand why some entrepreneurs might want to wait a little bit, but obviously the sooner you get things done, the less chance there is to have to go backwards and fix things up and make things right going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know the business owners, we all wear many hats along the ways, but I'm a big believer in trying to outsource what is not your core competency as soon as financially possible for you, right?
Exactly.
Um, so how does your firm support, businesses specifically in different industries? Or do you guys focus on something? Are you guys helping in different industries? Are there some unique things that whether it's a company in manufacturing or tech or health or a private corporation, what are there specific things that people in those industries should be thinking about?
Yeah, so we have focused our business pretty much on privately held businesses and their owners. So we don't do public entities. We do have a few nonprofits here and there, but it's really about the private business owner. And then within that, we do a lot in the tech industry. That's where actually I do a lot of my work in with software companies or SaaS companies. And helping them with things like the research and development tax credit or things that are really available to them that a lot of times when you're just kind of going through and doing work after year end, you don't realize that you're able to take advantage of these tax credits and breaks. So software industry is one of our niches. Another one is manufacturing distribution, which, we talked about Chicago, but both Chicago's got a lot of manufacturing distribution, a lot of software companies here. And then the third thing that we really focus on are professional services. So whether it's law firms or we have, engineering clients or healthcare professionals, doctors, we focus on those types of areas and feel like we're pretty good and understand the industries really well so that when we get clients in those industries, we're able to talk the same language as them and they don't have to, explain everything, what is recurring monthly revenue or these types of things. We get that and we can help them as they're growing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's important. You're talking about, each of these industries sort of had well, it's all the same tax forms, right? There are some unique peculiarities around being able to get some different credits and having someone that's doing a lot of the work or having a firm like yours that's doing work in a few different industries but knows all those industries very well can be pretty important, right?
For sure, for sure.
Well, let me ask you. So as we're wrapping up, here, if a listener wants to reach out after our conversation, what is the best way for them to connect with you?
Yeah, so and Chris, I could send this out, but if they want to reach out directly to me, at clendy@bronswick.com. Otherwise, our firm website is www.bronswick.com. Just reach out and would love to schedule a time to chat live over Zoom, in person, whatever it is, and get to know the business owner and learn about their business and learn about themselves. That's helping businesses and their owners live better lives and helping them as they're going through their own evolution in life cycle. There is really rewarding when we can help make a difference in these individuals' lives.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think the biggest, the biggest calling that we have as professionals is helping the business owners that we work with live better lives through whatever it is that we're specialists in. So we'll be sure to put your contact information underneath the video and on the website when we put this out as well. I would recommend people, if they have questions regarding their business and want to take maybe a step up, stop doing some of their own tax work, some of their own accounting, or maybe take a step up in quality, Caleb's a excellent person to reach out to. So I want to thank you, Caleb, for coming on Building Towards Wealth today. I'm Christopher Klepp, and this has been your Bridge Towards Wealth.